Hello Aries, this is Yvonne from the Aussie Goddess, here to do your weekly read. If you should like to know anything about me, please visit the box below. If the reading doesn't resonate with you, of course follow up on your other star signs, your rising or ascendant, your moon and your Venus. If you don't like the reading I've given you, there are lots of other readings on YouTube. Please check out one of the other fantastic readers on there. I have my favourites, I'll share them with you later. The cards I'm using are the Chiro Marchetti deck. I give them a little bit of a shuffle. And we'll do your reading, Aries. So this is for the week from the 12th of the 8th through till next Sunday. So let's see what's cracking for Aries this week. Okay, Aries, you're coming in with the King of Wands in reverse. Now this is your card. The King of Wands generally represents an Aries, but you're upside down. So somehow or another this week you're not in your element. Being an Aries, you have lost a bit of passion this week, so I'm not quite sure why that is or why you're in this sort of reverse state. Now, it could be that this is another Aries coming in, and in that case, it might be wise to think that because they're in the reverse, they may not have your best intention at heart. Don't forget the King of Wands can also represent the Sagittarius and Leo as well as Aries. And sometimes in the reverse, this can represent a person who can be manipulative or a little cold rather than passionate. They definitely are one to watch. So if you don't feel like this you and you're just not feeling on top of your game this week, then it could be someone else coming in. The Hierophant comes up next, and the Hierophant for me is a card that represents institutions, school, work. Feeling this, it might be that you're not happy at work at the moment. It really feels like you just want to move on. You want to turn your back on your job. You don't want to have anything to do with it. You're disenchanted. You want to move on. You don't want to do this anymore. It feels to me like you're ready for a change, and change is very slow in coming in, and you want to follow something that you want to do that's more passionate. You've lost your passion for this. Maybe you've been doing it for a long time and it's time to move on. It's very possible that you could have got overlooked for a promotion. I feel like for some of you that may be why you're feeling a bit the wrong way around. The other thing is you may be moving interstate or a different place and you've had to turn your back on your workplace to go somewhere else. So all of those things can apply. But I would say this is actually feeling quite betrayed at work. I feel like you're getting over this betrayal, but I feel like someone stabbed you in the back and it hasn't been a nice thing. It could be that someone's taken credit for your work, someone's spoken behind your back and talked about stuff that wasn't true. Whatever this is, this was betrayal. You're coming out of it now. I feel like you're making a decision to move on. You're making a decision to move somewhere else. You know you deserve better. You've realised your value and you're on your way. It definitely looks like work. Okay, so I feel like moving away from this has been quite difficult because it's been hard to give up. You obviously were earning very good money in this role, and it's like you've had to give up your independence for that now, and to move on to something more. Now, if this was a love reading, it's very possible that you gave up your independence to be with someone, to have a very structured and comfortable relationship, and they've betrayed you and you have to move on. And because of that, you've lost what you invested into this relationship. It feels more career, but maybe some of you can relate to it more on a romance level. But definitely moving away from something that's hurt. It's really hurt you. Regardless of whether that was work or relationship, you're very hurt, but you're coming out of it, so that's always good. Yep, there you are, moving on. Beautiful. Moving on after a time of thinking about this and making the decision. You definitely, you've made up your mind you can't deal with it anymore, that you need to move on to something different. You might take some time out now to make a decision about what you want to do, or which way you want to go. You need to be clear. The Two of Swords, the person in the card on the Two of Swords has a blindfold on. Don't be blindfolded. You've obviously made this decision for good reason. Go forward with it, being confident that you've done it for the right reasons. I feel like a lot of you may question whether you did do the right thing, but I feel like the energy from the cards here is that you are relieved to be moving on. I don't think it's been an easy decision to make. I think that it's probably caused you a lot of heartbreak, but whatever direction you're going in now is the right one for you. You've definitely made the right choice. Look at you go. 10 of Cups and the Nine of Swords in reverse. Perfect. So you're moving on towards what your heart desires. You're moving on to something better. You're moving on to something that has 10 cups in it, which is the best you can have. The Nine of Swords is now in the reverse, which says to me that you have moved on from this cycle. You have moved on from the sleepless nights. To be honest with you, I'm sure you had sleepless nights before you made the decision to go. It feels almost like you put in every effort to try and rescue what this was, whether it was a relationship or a work or a career move. I feel like you put in every effort. This hasn't been something that's happened quickly. I feel like you tried to turn it around so many times, and like you just got to a point where you were feeling very desperate, and then it's like, fuck it, I'm just moving on now. I've had enough. That's the way it feels to me. So you've done exactly what you needed to do, and there you are, look, working towards something. I think, Aries, that you underestimated. You were in something that really was way less than you deserved. I think you've realised that. I think there's been this realisation that, I deserve more than this. I can't deal with this anymore. There's got to be so much more with life. And it's like you've just gathered this beautiful speed down here, and you're now working towards what it is you want. And you've put all this sort of other shitty stuff behind you now. It's like, I really know what I want, and I'm going for that. I'm determined. I know what I deserve. Aries, great reading. Thank you for watching.